Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Frenzy proudly brings to you Skelevator. And we have with us joining us tonight, we have the Adam Battle Ram blog. And a surprise return host tonight, we have Sean Scavarna.
The power of the Scavarnators.
That's awesome.
Spit all over myself on that one.
I loved it though. It was perfect because he used to spit all the time.
Oz was just talking about this great idea for the intro, and I just confessed to them that this is so sad because I know a lot of you out there love wrestling, that I haven't watched wrestling since George the Animal Steel was a wrestler. So it's been a really long time. But man, I would have totally prepared to dye my tongue green for today's episode if that would have been the case. Yeah.
Well, it is good to see you guys. It feels like forever since we've done this. And man, I'm so glad to be hanging out with you guys again tonight.
Yeah, it's really good.
Likewise.
Yeah, and it's really great to have you, Sean, joining us again for tonight. And just a side note, everybody, Bobby is unable to attend tonight, and he sends his well wishes to everybody. Bobby, I know you're watching, and we miss you. But Sean, great to have you here. Adam, Oz, you guys doing okay?
Doing good.
Life be life, right?
Yeah, I spent the last couple of weeks out of state or out of the country, so I'm slightly getting used to being back, but it's good to be back.
Well, welcome back. Yeah. Do you want to let us know do you want to let the folks know where you went?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I first we went to Quebec and I got my obligatory, tourist hat from Quebec.
It's now called a Tila hat, actually.
Right, exactly. The Tila hat. It's got her kind of design.
Yep.
And then I just went to visit my mom in Washington State after that.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oz, you were not feeling too well a few days back. You feeling better?
Much better. Yeah, I had to cancel live on Saturday. I just had like this headache that would not quit, and it stemmed like all the way from the front, all the way around to the back of my head and neck. I was like, there is no way I'm going to be able to sit there for hours tonight, and do a show and everything like that. And I checked in with some of the other Clubhouse guys to see if anybody else wanted to host it. So, for the first time in forever, it seems like there was no Clubhouse hangout on a Saturday, but that's okay because we'll be back with a vengeance this Saturday. And for anybody who saw the post, I did say this upcoming weekend we were doing 24 hours, but that's how out of it I was. Like, it was brought to my attention the next day that San Diego Comic-Con's still another week out. So, guys, we're not going to do 24 hours this Saturday because I'm not doing 24 hours 2 weeks in a row. But the 27th, San Diego Comic-Con weekend, we are going to do a 24-hour Clubhouse stream. And we're going to be going from 6 a.m. Eastern to 6 a.m. Sunday Eastern time. Anybody who wants to jump on and hang out for a few hours throughout the day, like Dre was trying to help me fill out some time slots. I've had like one person actually contact me and go, hey, I'm good for this time. And I'm like, well, nobody else has ever signed up for anything. So you got your slots, buddy.
That's really cool. It's also, isn't it Dre's birthday?
Today is Dre's
birthday. Happy birthday, Dre. Happy birthday.
Big happy birthday shout out to Dre at the Collector Safe Space. Man, finally turning 21. I'm so excited to see everybody turn 21.
Birthdays are a big deal. And Dre, I hope you celebrate the entire month because that's what we encourage here in the Frenzy. Folks, you gotta celebrate your birthday for the whole month. It's your month. So even if it's in the middle of the month, it's perfect. So you got the first part, the last part, you're right in the middle. Oz, I am so impressed that you're going to do the 24-hour stream. I've got to pop in at some point during that. I got to do it. That's remarkable. And maybe selfishly because I got to be part of this Guinness Book of World Records achievement.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be any Guinness Award or anything, because I know there's other streamers that do 24 hours, but this is going to be the first 24-hour stream in the Awesomeverse. So
I've never seen people do that before. Maybe I'm just
game
out of the loop.
streamers do that stuff now.
Game streamers.
And see, here's the other thing about that too, right? As you guys know, I did bring Ed on as a partner so he can help me run things on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
Because it gets a bit overwhelming to try to do everything all by myself for 6 hours a night. So he and I are going to kind of like trade off shifts. There's going to be time where I can actually step away, go use the bathroom, go grab a bite to eat. So it's not like I will actually be on screen for the full 24 hours. Because, I mean, as much as I love you all, you're not going to the bathroom with me. That's not.
We're going to make sure we do that tonight. One of us is going to go to the bathroom tonight. You'll just have to wait and see. It'll be toward the end of the show. So if you want to participate in that, you got to stick around for the entire 2.5 hours.
They won't move from their chair. You won't be able to tell exactly, but somebody will have done it.
It's happening right now, maybe.
I'm wearing my Depends. We got,
This is a sample of 20 years from now. It'll be the prostate gotta go, and
20 years
5
from
minutes
now.
The prostate.
I'm thinking next year for me, maybe.
I was gonna say, shouldn't we all be starting to get that check now?
I'm just trying to be positive that 20 years from now it'll still be going, and that's
right. We'll be getting a check regularly, and still no news 20 years.
Going, go to bed, Daddy. Oh, toys.
There's toys. Didn't you see the new plastic?
Toys.
They'll be all hooked on the Cryptoy crap. Ugh.
Oh no.
No,
I think isn't that dead already? I would think it'd be dead by now.
I really hope it is.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. That has been our show, and we will see you next month. Cryptoys is never gonna. I don't think there's real success there.
No.
I understand, like, this is something I do understand. Like Call of Duty, you get the Skeletor skin. That's like your action figure, right? Your Skeletor skin. It's a digital action figure, but you can use it in a game, and it becomes this thing. It's like a collectible item. I understand that, but to collect digital toys that I could just be misunderstanding. It seems to just sort of stay in your computer. I mean, I don't really understand the appeal.
It's saved on a server that you can access, and you can play with it on your mobile. You can play with it on your computer, right? Now, here's the thing, though, right? Like, everybody thinks it's just going to be around forever. Well, like, anybody who's been through evolutions of social media, as old social media goes down, they eventually either get rid of those servers altogether, or they repurpose them for new stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, back in the day, I had a MySpace, right? Well, what do you think happened to all those pictures that were on the MySpace? They're gone. All those entries that I did for LiveJournal way back when, they're gone.
LiveJournal.
They were all.
I remember LiveJournal.
Oh, right? Wait. Are you going to go back to Friendster?
No, I'm not doing the Friendster. That poor bastardization of, like, hey, Napster was pretty cool. Let's make a social network out of it. Friendster.
Oh, man.
It's terrible. But yeah, like, that stuff is gone. Like, you can't access all of it anymore because they got rid of those servers. So you have all these toys, and they're stored on this server. And then what happens? They destroy the server. They get rid of the server. All the money you spent on that is now gone. Just done. And you've got nothing. Yeah. And what solidified, like, I already thought it was a bad idea to begin with. But what really killed me was probably one of the guys I'd seen the most hyped up for it out of anybody was Motu Joe, as we all know him from Facebook and He-Man.org forums. So
Hi, Joe.
He was really, really excited. And these things are $40 a pop. And he did a Facebook Live. And he was opening them. And he got like 3 figures. Mind you, he bought like 7 figures, but he had 3 figures. He had like 1 variant trap jaw. He got 4 of the same trap jaw because it's kind of like a blind box deal. You didn't know what you were going to get.
Oh, that makes it worse.
Oh my God, it was horrible because
So
I
much
just
worse.
watched, like, I'm sitting there thinking, ching, ching, ching for every single one of those figures.
Well,
So, like, you know, I get it. Like, it could be really appealing and really fun, but I saw that and that totally killed me.
I gotta send a shout out to Joe because Mojo Joe is one of those people that, first of all, it's remarkable how he can collect what he collects. And he has a remarkable collection, but also that dude remains positive no matter what. Like, I really admire how positive he is.
Oh, he's amazing.
And it takes a lot. I've never seen him be disappointed by something he's brought home and opened up and added to his collection. And so that, Joe, if you're watching, man, I really admire your positivity. And
Absolutely. It wasn't a knock on
great.
Joe.
Yeah.
It was just a knock on the idea of Cryptoys because.
Oh, no, yeah. Cryptoys are weird. If you can be positive buying Cryptoys, more power to you.
That just, again, that shows you the power of his positivity because he was
exactly
not, averted or upset. Like, he was excited, and I was just like, what the hell are you going to do with 4 of the same virtual trap jaw?
I know. Well,
at least if it was a physical one, you could either sell it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Or, there's options.
The one thing that the 4 of us can count on, and many other friends of the Awesomeverse, many of our frenzied folks, and all the people in the peripheral communities, like, all of you will be safe when the floods come. You just tie your toys into a raft and you just float your family to safety. You can't really do that with Cryptoys, okay?
That's right. I'm gonna wrap these guys up, tie them up together. They'll stay pretty buoyant.
For friends like Sean and other folks that have Mondos, like you're saving yourselves hours of work of like weaving figures together.
The thing that scares me is if I had to do that, Battle Cat and my NECA Ninja Turtles that are this big would end up pulling me to the bottom of the
They
ocean.
might, yeah.
Those things are freaking heavy.
They're like solid. They're solid plastic. My 2
Absolutely.
Mondos back here, they're like, I could do weight. I could lift weights with them.
You could, if you had Battle Cat, you could do curls, like double curls. Just hold the key right there and just do it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you guys are making me jealous. I could conserve space by, just lifting Mondos instead of having my weights around me instead.
You just do your Gray Skull and your Gray Skull and your Snake Mountain.
No. Pumped up real stuff.
Oh, there you go. He had to show off his amazing muscles, of course.
It's the gun show.
The gun show.
The gun show.
Boom, boom, boom.
Well, let's say hello to the chat. There's a ton of people in the chat. Let's say hello to them. Hello to them. Hello to them. It's been a long day.
Start here. You want me to run through them, Skelly, or
you're the best one at this, so I'm just going to say yes, please.
So we've got Aaron here in the chat, and I believe this is Aaron Davies. Is that correct?
Yeah, Aaron.
Excellent. There's a couple of Aarons around, so
yeah, it's true. Aaron, apologies for the wait. But isn't it sweet to have this moment after waiting weeks of for the frenzy and for the show to show up, and then you get to have it? I don't know. It's kind of like
it's torture. Everybody thinks it's torture.
The frenzy is becoming like toy collecting. It's like you have to wait for the releases. You pre-order. You have to wait for months.
It gets canceled by Walmart 4 times.
We've been canceled by Walmart 5 times.
Or it's just canceling it. Target's charging your card 20 times.
That'll be the name of the next Frenzy episode. Canceled. It has multiple meanings. Multiple meanings.
Oh man, everybody's gonna blame us for clickbait for that one.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. Every one of our thumbnails is clickbait. Well,
It should,
I
it
guess
should
not.
be. All right, we've got JMax77 hanging out with us, and this is actually
Good to see
his
you.
looking forward to it, guys and ladies, was the whole reason I wanted to do that intro, because I saw that and I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's go for it.
Time to focus on the ladies. Yes.
We've got Motu Origins Cork here with us. What's
All
going on,
right,
David?
David.
Good to have you.
Ronald
Embry here with us, and David saying just woke up just for us, but he doesn't think he can make it far.
I understand.
We appreciate you, brother. We know on your side of the world it is extremely early in the morning, so just thank you for waking up and saying hello to us.
Yeah, thank you, David.
We've got the Cobweb Collector Payne's toy samples. What? Almost on time? And I know, and I'm here. It's just because I threw on a bandana instead of doing my hair like usual.
We were only 6 minutes late this time.
Only 6. We're
it's not too bad. That's good for us, right? That's 5 minutes
really
early
for us.
5 minutes early for us, yeah.
Yeah.
And as we all know, now we are officially Toy Tube, as we have Nolan here in the chat with us. Brother, good to have you here.
Yeah, good to have you.
Kenzo's Creation saying, hey
Kenzo.
fellas. Good to see you, brother. Thank you. And look, say Cobweb Collector says he was awake all Saturday, bored as hell. Because
referring to hoping for your 24-hour clubhouse?
Oh, no, he's talking about last week when we didn't go on, just because normally it's what people do on Saturdays. They do the clubhouse hangout. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I know it's an institution, but sometimes it's just not going to happen.
Sometimes it's a good idea to rest.
It is, especially when you need it. All right, we have Allison Troy Princess. I said Troy Princess. Allison Troy Retro Toy Princess. Oh, man, you can tell I haven't done this for a while. I'm slipping up all over the place. Greetings, my beautiful summer children. I love it when she does that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Makes you feel good. Like, no, I'm a beautiful summer child.
Beautiful summer child. I'm feeling extremely hippie. Where did I put my baby?
Where's your patchouli? Just grab your stinkor.
That's right. I need to go grab stinkor. All right, we've got Rolando Flores here joining us. And then the wonderful Hylian Dread safe from Hurricane Beryl.
Yes, thank goodness. Good to see you, Hylian.
Says, at least with Reek blind box figures, you can sell or trade the action. Or I'm thinking that was supposed to be real. And that's exactly my point. At least when they're real, you can pawn them off to other people.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
And if Mattel goes bankrupt, my Castle Grayskull doesn't disappear all of a sudden.
Yeah. That's right. My Castle Grayskull hangs around.
Yeah.
Physical media.
Yeah, that's the good thing about the physical object is that you can hold it. You can decide what to do with it. It won't disappear on you. Unless somebody steals it from your house.
Yeah, that's the worst. just to let everybody know.
Isn't that funny, Allison? I don't know who came up with that idea, but then in the 90s when the neo hippie movement was at its height, with the grunge movement and the neo hippie movement, like patchouli was back and like everywhere, and it did not work. And all the kids were talking about, oh yeah, it covers up the smell of the weed. No, it never worked. Never worked for that.
Yeah.
I love patchouli, by the way. I don't know about you guys, but I
think
love
it smells
the smell
good.
of patchouli.
I'm all about it. I never thought stink or stunk. Like I just thought I was like, man, it's a pretty cool smelling figure. And just wrote up, and then everybody kept calling me some kind of a Goomba or something, It was weird.
First grade.
What was that, Sean? Sorry.
First grade Axe body spray. You just start rubbing Stinkor all over you. And you open it up, crack the lead.
Wait a minute. No, I actually
said the swings. Come on.
That's so funny that you said that. You said Axe body spray. I actually saved this. I should have downloaded it. I was going to talk to you guys about this tonight. I saw this advertisement came on. Let me see if I can pull up I did a screenshot of it because I thought, are they trying to speak to Masters of the Universe fans? Axe body spray, purple patchouli.
Hold on.
Ah.
This needs a.
Maybe.
All right, where can we get it and when? I want to get some.
I don't know. I just took a snapshot of it because, first of all, if you love Masters of the Universe, you love purple. If you love Masters of the Universe and you weren't terrified of stink or smell, you love patchouli. And that's like, it's almost like they're, first of all, Axe, I hope I don't offend anybody, but Axe is too much. I can't handle Axe. When someone walks in and they smell
potent.
like, it's potent. I get a headache from it, but hey, you know what? They might be speaking to the Masters of the Universe community with this. In preparation for Comic-Con, maybe.
You know, that actually is quite possibly it.
Yeah.
Preparation for Comic-Con. Because the only other thing, and it's something we all like to talk about on this channel that I know that really helps you out at the stinky conventions, is Vicks. You just gotta smear it underneath the nose. You know, it's an old coroner trick. You know, Bud, what's going on, brother?
It's good to see you, Bud.
Put that Vicks under the nose and just save yourself like a lot of stress at a convention. I mean, fortunately now, like at least I know at least at PowerCon last year was not that bad, thankfully. Adam, I know you can vouch for that. You were there. I don't know if you had any bad experiences with it. But I mean, that's a bunch of older guys like us. Like, we've learned hygiene is important. Like, we know. The last video game convention that I went to with a bunch of young guys in their 20s, I wish more guys were walking around wearing Axe at that. And mind you, again, like Skelly, I'm not a big fan of Axe. I don't really care for it. But I wish they had used it a little bit more.
Well, now they've made Axe body spray for Masters of the Universe fans. So PowerCon when I went didn't smell bad either. Like you know, it was pretty nice in Anaheim.
If you go with the Stinkor costume though, you buy that Axe patchouli stuff and you spray it all over.
You know, I met Stinkor while we were at PowerCon, and I was just looking at that photo not too long ago. Let me pull that up real quick. I met Stinkor at PowerCon. It was awesome. You gotta scroll way back there.
I think next time we meet for the Frenzy, I'm gonna come with a review of Axe Purple Patchouli. So that to save people from buying it, or to
you ain't saving me, brother. I'm diving in. I'm diving in
right now. He's already ordered it on Amazon just now.
All right, here we go. I got it. So
let me
make myself big here.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was a cool costume.
That's a really cool costume.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was really, really great. But it didn't smell like patchouli.
What did it smell like?
Nothing. I was just making the face for the photo because I knew nobody would be able to smell it. Which was a shame. It would have been great if it did, like if there was just a terrible, terrible smell.
Yeah. Like sulfur, like stink bombs.
Oh, that would have been good. Yeah, like a sulfur smell.
All he had to do was just wear the costume for a week straight, and then it would have been ready to go.
Ooh,
yeah, there you go.
Ooh, I wouldn't have got that close for the selfie.
Well, tonight we are. That's hilarious, Allison. Tonight we are.
I want to read it out. Can I read it out, please?
Yes, read it out.
Axe body spray when you need a scent to overpower your lame personality between CrossFit sessions.
Oh, man. Allison, always quick with the quips.
She is absolutely wonderful with it. Thank you, Allison.
Not sure if true, but recently heard that purple only exists in your brain, recognizing that there is blue and red as the receptors react to that, and there is no green as that receptor doesn't get. I had heard about that too. I imagine that's true, David. That makes sense to me.
So what it is on the spectrum, very similar to like brown. Brown does not exist. Brown is not actually a real color. Right. It's just a very dark shade of orange. Purple is the same way. It's supposed to register as green, right? And it doesn't because there's no yellow that exists with it. So it can't come through as green. And instead, what our eyes interpret it as is purple.
Yeah, I love color. I would be for anybody that's colorblind, I feel for you, because color brings a lot of joy to my life.
There it is.
Hit, and the brain just invents that color to express the missing of green. Yep, there you go.
So, and Allison stating, just wear it to the stream. We'll all be able to smell it through the screen. And it's true, because Patchouli is just that potent.
True. Patchouli and Axe combined, like the potency is going to like melt faces.
I tell you what, I'm not going to be allowed to wear it. I'll put it on once and I won't be allowed to wear it again.
That's that scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark when their faces melt.
Just melting off. PG movie, faces melt. It's cool.
Yeah, love it. One of my favorite scenes of all time, actually. Well, tonight we are talking about the theme of today's show is powerful women. And this goes beyond just Masters of the Universe, but it's about time, actually. And I know that several of us feel this way, but in so many ways, and we'll just talk about Masters real quick. Real quick right now, but we're going to talk about them a lot, actually. I feel like the phrase brains behind the operation is genuine, folks, because I feel like the female characters, especially in Star Wars with Princess Leia and with Masters of the Universe and so many other IPs that influenced us as kids in the 80s, those characters were smart, most of the time smarter than the male characters they were working with, and they were on top of it. Like I don't know, my wife and I we're always rewatching Masters of the Universe at night, He-Man, the Filmation series. I'm always like, Teela is on it every time. There's only a few moments where she's like making slightly bad decisions, but that goes for all the characters in the show. And I swear,
was never a damsel in distress.
No,
right?
Never. And we weren't. I think if you grew up in the 80s, that was the first era where we got to have strong female characters in children's shows, and that was really awesome. Yeah, Wonder Woman and Batgirl, absolutely.
That's before the 1980s, and again, both very powerful, kick-ass women.
I'm just talking. Yeah, for sure. Now, we got a lot of characters to talk about, but Sean is here for a very, very special reason tonight. And so we're going to give Sean the stage for a little bit tonight, and just he has something to share with all of us, and some of you out there in the audience know what that is. So Sean, why don't you take it away?
All right, taking it away. So the Teela vibe that we're throwing off right now. Well, that's annoying. I'll have to fix that.
Oh no!
Oops. Something just popped. Oh, it's an easy fix. It's no big deal.
Okay.
She's not 100% because this little piece popped off and it's got a little thing back there I got to fix. But thank you guys. So this arrived at my house last week, if I remember right. And I found out that it is part of a gift from the Frenzy community, as well as I know the Dooch was also involved. I got to move her thing so it's not sticking up my nose. I know Curtis and Jesse as well from Offworld also were, and Joe, I think Joe as well, Gonzalez. And this was an enormous surprise to me. So I want to thank everybody who had any hand in it whatsoever that this arrived to me. I was beyond floored when I saw this at my doorstep. And I was joking earlier. I said the first thing that I had to think is, how do I tell my wife that I didn't buy this? Because right now we're trying not to do that. But yeah, she is absolutely a gorgeous figure. I'll take her out of the stand here for a second. And I mean, Mondo, let me see if I can fix this real quick because it's kind of bugging me that this isn't hanging properly. Mondo, I mean, you guys know when I was on earlier, previously and stuff. Okay, it's not going to work right now. Mondo is one that I actually like the way they're recapturing my love of the vintage masters, and they're doing their own like one-upping what we had when we were kids in some ways. So I had He-Man for a while, I had Battle Cat, and I had 3 villains, and I just kept looking at my shelf going, I kind of wish I could get another character. And then the Tila pre-order hit, and I'm like, that's the character. I need Tila. I mean, it's like we were just saying. I mean, she literally is like right there, running into danger right along with He-Man, 100% of the time. And if you watched Revelation, if you watched Revolution, you see her growing as a character, and you see her growing in power, and you see her growing as just becoming a better and even more interesting hero in some ways too. So this is, for me, this figure really personifies her in a really, really beautiful way. And I'll take this snake armor off here to show her without that, because it does feel weird to talk about her and not have Tila.
Yeah.
So there's that. But
that snake armor sculpt is just beautiful.
It is.
Man. The whole toy.
It's I mean, I love that they have all those gold details on there. Yeah. They have some dry brushing on it to give it some, and I love that it's not even like the vintage. You literally just pop it right on her head, and you have the goddess if you want to have the goddess. But the soft goods with the fur and everything, because I always liked that in the mini comics, where they had a little bit of that going on before it was more like, here's the armor and the one piece going on and all that stuff. Yeah. So they have that on the boots as well. The weird thing is, and I brought this up in our review, is now Mondo's signing everything. They didn't do that before.
Weird.
Oh, that's cool.
That was a surprise when I was checking her over, and I'm like, Mondo, geez, you're actually doing a signature on your characters or your figures.
I should check. Have you checked the feet of Beastman? Is there a signature there?
He didn't have any, because I did have him. He was actually on my desk laying down for a while, because I was trying to figure out where to, space wise, where I was going to put him, and if I was going to have him like hunched over or whatever. So I just had him just off to the side for a bit, and I saw those feet every day. but yeah, again, thank you guys for all this, because this really is a great piece on the shelf. It's a great piece to the collection. I am not getting rid of this figure ever. Simple as that. And yeah, just, I mean, I guess here, I mean, the details in general, to me, I love that they even have the lace here for the button and all that stuff. And even with the, I'm always a sucker to see the wrappings around the boots and stuff. Because when I would do commissions way back in the day, I always like to mess with that and give it more details and stuff, and they always do that. So yeah, but yeah,
the way you have her set up in the head sculpt you chose, she really looks like the mini comics Tila in this image. I mean, in this the way you have her set up.
Yeah, they had. There was another head where she's like gritting her teeth, like she's angry or determined. Yeah. And then the other one was more of a 2000X where she's smiling. And I was like, me being a 2000X fan, there was a part of me going, do I want to go there? But the rest of her doesn't look as 2000X to me as I would have liked to see for that version and stuff. But for me, the way I want to do the Mondos is I want it to be like the vintage on my shelf, but huge. So everything that I have is kind of scaled down to whatever it was when I had them as a kid. So in her case, like, the snake staff, and I wanted to do this just because it has that vibe of like when she found He-Man, and then she gave him all the armor in the cave and all that stuff. So right out of the mini comics.
Yep.
Yeah. So
beautiful.
It depends what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the t-shirt tonight. If I would have actually worn the right outfit to go with her, I would put that in there,
You have that outfit, I think. You told me.
But yeah, again, thank you guys for this. It was such an awesome surprise to have her. So like I said, she's not going anywhere except for on the shelf. Now I got to pop
cool.
this on somehow. I got to like look at her, and I'm gonna be doing this and feeling like a really dirty man. So I won't do that. Yeah.
So, do you think that I just saw a question pop up or a statement? Do you think that they're going to do a green goddess?
I saw that somewhere. I saw that there was artwork for her. Like when sometimes Mondo would do here's like 4 or 6 squares all together, and it shows like a little piece. Like I've seen. I want to say that we've seen like wings for Stratos in one of them, and one of them did have the like a part of the face of the Green Goddess too.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Like for me personally, this is perfect for the Goddess because that's the mini comic version. But I can already imagine like Nate Barch salivating, going, "Oh my god,
oh yeah, for sure,"
because I know that's his favorite. So.
Yeah.
See, I got my glow in the dark cup too, Skelly.
That's right.
Spend my water throughout the days through this heat wave.
Well, I mean, we the whole community and folks, like I said, folks on the periphery, but associated with us, we were just we all knew that this had to happen for you, and so. I'm glad you have it. And I'm glad you're happy with it.
Yeah, very happy.
One final request. Can we see what she looks like standing next to that battle cat that's behind you?
Oh, let's see here. So here's one thing that does it's I won't say it's a negative, but it's definitely something to be wary of. With Tila, she has okay, let me show this. So her ankles.
Oh yeah.
If I just go.
Oh yeah.
And it's like I'm not pushing really hard. I'm just pushing kind of.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say lightly, but I'm pushing enough that like she will not stand without a stand. So I got to put her in her stand basically.
Yeah.
But once I get that done, then I'll put her right next to Battle Cat.
Dang, that Battle Cat is enormous.
And
is huge.
Whoa!
Oh, nice.
That's incredible.
Just like, I'm kind of here.
That looks great.
So,
well, I mean,
He-Man's like in the back going, "Hi guys."
He's like, "Hey, I'm here."
Dude, you got to do that scene from what is it, King of Castle Grayskull, where He-Man and Teela are both riding on Battle Cat.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be perfect.
Well, good stuff.
I will try. I can't really guarantee that only because schedule for me is really tight with summer right now with the kids being home and everything. Yeah. But if I'm asked to come on and there's something I can contribute, I will definitely come back because I have missed this, and my wife is almost at the point of like, oh dear God, go geek out with your friends. I'm tired of hearing about stuff. So, this is my therapy to be able to be geek and talk shop about it. So yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we got some, we have some tentative plans for the future episodes where Sean might be coming back to make an appearance here and there. So. And folks, just think of Toy Frenzy. I did it too, Oz. Think of the Frenzy. Think of the Frenzy as that pre-order that you're waiting on. When you get it, we'll be there for you. So, what's it say, Sean? Can you pose your He-Man and Teela?
Oh yeah. That I would honestly need to have like prep time for that, because otherwise you're just gonna see me mash them together like if it was a 12-inch GI Joe and Barbie trying to get married right now. That wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So
and plus it's like for me, and I didn't know this until I had Mondo figures.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't even want to play with these. I mean, you put them in a pose, you set them up, and then you let them stay for a while because they are just, number one, they're pretty, I feel like they're sturdy, but they're also delicate, if there can be such a thing. They're like sturdy, but I'm just terrified that they're going to break. Yes, and someone called Thanos Copter. Thanos Copter will make the scene for you.
He'll make that happen.
Yeah.
His hump day shots for the past couple weeks. Woo,
Yeah.
Wow. His version will be way more fun than my version. My version is still vanilla.
Yeah, mine would be pretty tame too. David is saying, well, can we see the Frenzy as a pre-order with a pile of loot option and then we ship it all at once? Yes. In fact, if you go to the Skelevator channel, you can watch Toy Frenzy followed by the Frenzy. You can watch them all day long. Go back to those first episodes with Oz and I just talking, and then watch the progression of the show and the evolution of it. There's plenty to watch out there.
You'll catch all the latest news about San Diego Comic-Con 2022.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
But thank you, David. Thank you for the love. That means a lot. So that takes us to our next segment. Sean, anything else you want to add about the Mondo Tila?
Just want to put that thing on her suit so it's normal. It's bugging me.
It's okay to play with your toys here, Sean. It's okay.
It's okay.
I know. That's why I'm doing it. Live.
So tell me, is there, while we're talking about putting something back on the figure, is there a trick to having those twine bones that are supposed to hang on the belt teeth that are on Beastman's waist? Is there a trick to having them stay on there? Because they just always fall off.
I couldn't even tell you. I didn't do that. Anything that you like Tila came with a belt and a sword sheath and the sword, and I couldn't. I'm like, does this actually unhook? And then I saw it didn't unhook. So then I'm like, I'm not dealing with warming it up and pushing it. Because I mean, the other thing too is this is how Teal is supposed to look to me.
Yes,
right out of the box, pretty much. So they add in certain things where I just kind of go, I love that you did that, but I'm not going to use it probably ever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the same thing. Like there are so many. These figures come with so many accessories. It's like just the options are incredible. But for me, I'm similar to you, Sean. I've got one option for these Mondo figures, and they're staying that way.
Yep.
Or maybe until I change my mind, I guess. All right.
Nothing wrong with refreshing.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Nope. There we go.
Okay, Adam, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we've got a really fantastic Battle Ram report coming up, folks.
Welcome to another edition of the Battle Ram Report, brought to you by Adam, author of the BattleRamblog.com website, the best Motu site on the web. He'll throw you a He-Man punch and a Skeletor blast. Be ready to get some knowledge. Take it away, Adam.
I love hearing Bobby's voice there.
Yeah.
Again, Bobby, we miss you, buddy.
Missed you.
Perfect. All right, so Women of Eternia, focusing on the big three, as you might guess. So starting off this list, and because I'm covering three, I'm not going to go into quite the same depth as I normally do, just because it would take the rest of the whole show. So starting off with Tila, continuing on the topic of the warrior goddess. This picture, by the way, is one of my favorites by Errol McCarthy.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I just like I know there's like just in terms of like what does Eternia look like. There's a lot of kind of more fantastic or funky trees or volcanoes, but I kind of like this got these plains too that are part of it. Just kind of spying on Skeletor and Beastman.
See, Sean, you could set this up right now. This scene, I saw these birch trees on Amazon. You could get these miniature birch trees. Just get a couple of those, and paint something on the back of your shelf wall that looks like some subtle hills, and there you go.
I can't not look at that though and think to myself, the conversation going on between them is, "Come on, Beast Man, time for walkies."
I know. Beastman's like, I'm coming. I'm on my way.
I swear I didn't make on the carpet.
I just picture it now. He's lecturing him like a dog. Like, would you just go poopy so we can get back home?
You can also see how Skeletor's hand is doing this thing. You could also interpret this as like, and over there is the blah 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 hillside, and Beastman's like, he won't stop talking about the landscape. Yeah, love it.
Over there is not going to be called Beast Manusburg. I don't care what you say.
That's awesome. I love this image too.
Yeah. All right. So next slide. So starting off with Tila, some of her design. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have seen the concept art for Tila. So at this point, this drawing is May 28th, 81. Called just female warrior. She doesn't have a name yet. Don Gillette, the author of the first mini comics, he claims to have come up with the name Tila based on, I think, an elephant. There was a famous elephant named Tila. There's some dispute about where that name came from, but obviously some details. She is not originally supposed to have that snake armor originally, like the original idea. She had a spear and a shield, and you can kind of see she's sporting the blonde hair, which went away basically because He-Man was originally a brunette, but then he got changed to blonde, and then just so not everybody's blonde, they changed her to a red hair.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. This is Rebecca, Mark's wife, shared this. I kind of love this one. It shows Mark's idea for the costume. So all of that, the gold detail, like the swirlies on her chest and the sort of leafy, flirty kind of vibe on her costume, that was supposed to be actually removable on the toy. Like you could it would go over this sort of tunic design here, that would allow this buck to be reused, look a little more generic on the actual figure buck, and make it a little bit more reusable or reuse friendly. So obviously they didn't do that. They ended up just molding that detail all to the figure instead.
I think that's interesting that they've done that with the Filmation version of her. They've it's a nod to the cartoon. And what I mean is by that is the cartoon collection Tila that just came out. Mm-hmm. You can remove the armor and you can put other. Ideally it'd be cool if other outfits came out, right? But it's neat that you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the surviving remnants of the very first prototype sculpted by Tony Guerrero. The first one was in clay, and then I think there were probably some wax copies. This one's a very racy. As Mark says, Tony kind of went nuts with it and made it a little too racy.
He was still shaking the Conan line.
Yes.
Very Frazetta influenced here.
Yes. And because of that, there was some pushback from marketing to like, hey, let's cover her up more. Which is why she eventually got that snake armor too. That was another way to kind of cover her up a bit more.
Well, that didn't matter. Every time she did that jump from in front of the camera on the show, that was enough for me when I was a kid. My mind was already off to the races. So even if they didn't design her that way, one way or the other, there was always going to be, Tila.
Go ahead,
Oscar. I was just going to say what's great about that though is they did that for the male characters did that too. Yeah. The squat in front of the camera.
True.
Equal opportunity on Masters of the Universe. Yeah.
There's something for everybody.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. Sorry, Oz, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to bring up with Allison's comment here. Like, I wish Origins had gone this route, that more woman buck, because it. Like, essentially, no matter what head sculpt they put on there, you can't unsee that it's a repainted Tila, right? Like,
Yeah.
paint of her. Even with Evelyn, and that's why I say it's a repaint of Tila, not a repaint of Evelyn, because we all know that originally she came out of Shield. So, like, you look at it and it's like, yes, that's Evelyn because the colors are so distinct and everything else like that. But when you look at it, it's still the same armor,
Yeah.
and without being able to swap the armor like you can on the male figures for most of them that have different armor, even if it's the same buck, like it's not generic enough, basically. So I got to agree with Allison here. I wish they had gone a more generic route with it, with just different swappable armor that you could put on. Like, they could have just painted it like a white bodysuit or a black bodysuit for the bad guys, and then you pop whatever armor on it, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what they're doing with the Filmation collection or the cartoon collection, too. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
They should have done that to begin with.
So on the left here, you have sort of that second generation Tila prototype. She's got. I did a post. I didn't include this here, but she does have that leafy kind of fleur-de-lis pattern, and even her spear kind of looks more like it here. But this is the one on the left is unarticulated. Like those early ones, they were just one piece, just kind of show the concept. And this is what, if you had the original Castle Grayskull box, there was a picture of her on the side because the actual toy wasn't ready yet when they were putting the box together. I actually love this design. It's probably my favorite Tila look. For whatever reason, I just like the whole look with the gold, the red armor, the gold accessories. It looks great.
It's the green eyes on the armor. It just pops.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. And the one on the right, that's actually one of probably the first working articulated prototype. And it's interesting because it doesn't have what the actual toy had. It has like more like Barbie leg articulation, or the same articulation that I think was on the She-Ra toys as well. It doesn't have the rubber band joints that she had got eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see she's still got that early shield, but it's just been painted red here. But now she's got a snake staff instead of the spear.
Yeah.
So this one is one of the early catalogs. I'm guessing this was probably like an early factory sample where they were still toying with what the paint would be, and she's got the white fur on top of her boots, which all the concept and prototypes had that as well. So this is notable for that, but this has the updated leg articulation. It's basically sculpt wise, it's the Tila that we know.
Yes, Allison, give us
Agreed.
Lords of Power Grayskull prototype Tila. Yeah,
100% agreed. Yeah.
They held back so that way they could release a second Lords of Power pack. That's what it was.
You think that's what they're gonna do?
They should.
No.
They should.
They really should.
I would love to see it, but I doubt it because I don't think they have enough character. I mean, it would be a 2-pack to do anything. Well, no, because they really released their butt in the 5-pack, right?
Tila, they could do Goddess. They could do.
It's true.
They did Naked Stratos, but they didn't do him justice. I don't think.
Yeah. Could have given him the necklace. Still didn't.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity. Mattel, I'm looking at you. You already had the sculpting for the piece.
For sure. This is an actual production piece,
hey,
but
sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. This is probably, I'm going to say, the most rare variant if you're into collecting like early production variants. This is Tila with green eyes. I've seen a couple. I don't have one, but she showed up in the '83 catalog like this, and there are a few examples out there.
Wow, that would be amazing to have.
Yeah.
Well, Bud's already going to make sure all of his Tilas have the green eyes on the snake armor now.
Mhm.
There you go.
I don't blame him, man. Like, you know, red and green are absolute reversal on the color wheel. So, like, it really pops when you see them, you know, that contrast together on it. And, like, it just makes your eyes look at it. It's got, like, that whole staring power now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely the best look.
Hold on, we had more here. So Tila got us from Mark Taylor's B Sheets, Accurate Mini Comic Alcala Stratos, and Ular.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's the whole. They could do a whole nother Lords of Power pack right there, and I'd love to see it.
Oh, and you know what? They could do another He-Man too, like the one with the horned helmet.
Oh yeah,
They could do that.
Yeah, there we go.
So this is kind of just I did a video on Tila recently, and I kind of went like just the confusing. Like if you're gonna go like the first 2 years of mini comics, you can look at something that looks like Tila and you don't know unless you read it. If is this supposed to be Tila, or is this the goddess or the sorceress?
Mm-hmm.
So on the left is Tila from the Golden Books. On the right is Sorceress from the DC Comics, the 82 DC Comics series.
Yeah.
It's just kind of because they did that. Basically, they combined the and I'll go over Sorceress here too in a minute, but just because they combined it and made it so it's a 2-in-1 figure. You know, without armor it's Sorceress, with armor or with armor it's Sorceress, without it's Tila. In some stories, but in others, Tila does have her armor, and you know it's all over the place. It became like kind of a mess. Next slide is just my particular Tila.
Oh, cool.
So there's Tila in a nutshell.
I gotta make a comment here and piggyback off of what Alan Vine Jungle Figure Factory is saying to Gaytai's Toys. The cartoon collection Tila does for sure have an amazing face paint. It looks just like the cartoon. It's really a phenomenal toy.
So Andrew jumped in the chat a little bit late, but that is Gaty's Toys. His whole channel, he does a lot of perspectives on unproduced female figures from toy lines. That's why he said, like, tonight, this is right up his alley, because it's all about
awesome.
Ladies. And I love to play on words with his name, too.
Yeah, Gaty's. That's hilarious. That's great. Love it.
All right, moving on to Sorceress, who has a kind of a strange design history too. So she again starts out as a Mark Taylor character. If we go to the next slide, and I could have used this to talk about Tila, but this is basically the origin of the snake armor.
Yeah.
It comes from Mark's Sorceress, and she's got the snake staff as well. And you can kind of see with her how that removable gold armor from Tila, having that knot there, makes her look more like a different character. She doesn't have any of that. She just has the tunic and not the Tila stuff on her. You can kind of see the detail there. It was supposed to have fangs on the snake headdress.
Oh yeah, I see that.
She was also not supposed to have green skin. It was supposed to be like a bodysuit, like Man at Arms, but it got sort of translated as a green-skinned person when in the first comic.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the famous scene. She's giving He-Man his magical, mystical, technological artifacts that. As most of probably he got extra power and potentially force shield depending on which one he's wearing from his armor that he's wearing. But Sorceress is kind of the gateway to that stuff.
I love this image.
Yeah, this one right here is absolutely one of the most iconic images in all of Masters of the Universe. Absolutely love seeing it. And I love when other people do renditions of it. You know, I will always talk up Thanos' photograph of this with
Yeah,
forced perspective of different
so
scaling
good.
of toys to be able to recreate this shot. It is, without a doubt, one of the most iconic images within Masters of the Universe, and I love it.
Yeah,
For sure.
for sure. Me too. And then because that green, they wanted to the 2-in-1 thing. So basically, that sorceress becomes this sorceress. This is one of the early DC comics.
Yeah.
So it's again you can see she's even got the prototype spear and shield from that Tila prototype.
Oh yeah.
So basically, if it looks like this with his armor within the DC comics, then that's sorceress.
I need a battle cat with that fluorescent pink armor.
I know, right?
You got to get the oh, who was the artist that did that with the Mattel Creations? Modesky?
Oh,
Oh,
I mean,
Madsky.
yeah, Madsky. Thank you,
Yeah.
Madsky. Like the color and the look on those that he produced were, they just pop. And I gotta say, like that, it does look like that pink saddle and armor.
Yeah,
It does.
Madsaki. I think it wasn't that.
is it Madsky or Madsaki?
I think it's Madsaki. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes
sounds,
even more
that sounds
sense.
right. Yeah.
I know I said it multiple times on Legends of Grayskull because
Yeah.
we were really debating what was the point of that. But yeah, I agree though. The pink is the pink. That's about the most I can give you though, because when I saw what he did, I'm like, that's not what I need for Masters. But okay.
It was so cool to see like his giant sculptures.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like it would be so cool to see those just with the normal colors, but with the changing up of the colors and everything. I know that threw everybody for a loop. So, but yeah, I mean, the sculptures in the large scale sculptures in themselves, without the crazy colors, are just cool to see. I'd love to walk into a room where there are giant Masters of the Universe, fiberglass figures. But yeah,
let's build them.
Let's build them. Yeah. Anybody know how to use fiberglass?
Not a clue. I'm going to learn. We'll all learn. We'll watch YouTube videos. We're learning. And project set to start this weekend.
All right. There you go.
Sounds good.
24 hours of fiberglass.
It'll be a fiberglass frenzy.
Yeah, pretty much. I like that.
That'll work. I like that.
Yeah.
So this is just more interestingly in the 83 mini comics, which are also done by DC Comics, she was, instead of being called the sorceress, she's just called the goddess, which comes from Tila's, Tila warrior goddess.
Yeah.
There's the whole story about Tila being a clone of her, but the goddess is also named Tila. It gets very convoluted quickly. So yeah. But in the next panel, there's kind of an interesting thing. Yuka put this together. There's if we skip to the next panel, there's a secret liquid of life, like the pencils. You can see like he was told, okay, in this comic, the sorceress is going to be a character, and she's telling He-Man all this this dialogue. But his original pencils, the model he had was the snake, the snake headdress version of sorceress, because that's all he knew. This was what after the Filmation had come out, so he had to update this after the fact. Oh, okay, wow. No, it's not the snake version; it's the Falcon.
It's really cool to see that difference. I've never actually seen that before.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's cool digging back through and seeing all that stuff and seeing where it came to.
Yeah.
I got to pause just for a moment. And Alan posted, I make that stuff all the time, referring to fiberglass. road trip to Texas. He's ready for us to come and do some craft time.
There we go. All right.
All right.
Road trip to Texas.
There you
We
go.
got some other friends of ours that are out there in the Texas
Yeah.
area. So I know it's a huge state, and they could be living on complete opposite ends, but we'll try to do it.
Break out the Studebaker.
There
That's
it is.
right.
Yep.
The Friends Mobile.
Absolutely.
So this is for Filmation. Basically, I think they saw that the Tila Sorceress Goddess thing was kind of a mess, so they set out to redesign the Sorceress with the Falcon theme. This is their early kind of shot at it, which I'm not, totally sold on this version. Obviously, they didn't stick with this. Yeah, it does look kind of Star Trek-y.
I dig it though. I dig it. There it is, the Frenzied Wagon.
Yeah.
There it is. It's got to be painted up like the what was the Murphmobile from Wayne's World or something?
Yeah, there we go.
Or it's green station wagon with wood paneling down the side.
Love it.
So in the next one, obviously, we get the Sorceress that we know and love, whose look was obviously, inspired by Zor, which also came out in '83. So they kind of took those colors and that kind of theme and worked her backwards into that kind of a look.
Yeah, that's great. Yes, totally, Alan, for sure.
Instead of Frazetta art down the side of the van, it'd have to be Mark Taylor art.
Oh,
For sure, definitely.
Rudy O'Brien, Castle Grayskull.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
One side,
One
yes.
side's Castle Grayskull, the other
Oh,
side's
man.
the Battle Ram one, because you gotta honor
Yes.
it like that. You gotta.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
Oh man. Now we're designing the official Battle Ram Frenzied Wagon. So good.
We gotta make it happen. Somebody start playing the lottery so we can
All right.
do this.
Okay.
That's how we'll do it. And we'll make sure it's Battle Ram blue.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be that shade of blue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No windows down the sides because we got to have
Where
full
Yeah.
panel
I feel sorry for
murals.
those of us
Oh.
that have to sit in the back, have to sit with no windows.
And we'll make a fiberglass gargoyle, gargoyle kind of hood ornament like the Battle Ram
Mhm.
front.
Yes.
Yes, totally.
Yes.
And
See,
across
there we
the
go.
back, you have the Road Ripper art, and on the hood, you have the Attack Drag art right there. So you
There
got all
you
the
go.
major
Perfect.
There you
vehicles
go.
plus Castle
Beautiful.
Grayskull, and it's like you pull up with Castle Grayskull in your van, you damn well know it's a party. Simple as that.
That's right.
Mhm.
It's a
Mhm.
powerful party.
That's right.
The most powerful
Party
Vic
in the
party.
universe.
Yes. Done. Tagline finished.
I can't yell it like I want to because my kids are trying to sleep.
Yeah. Can't yell it either.
And then there's just the bird for reference.
Yeah. The Super 7 version of the Falcon looks just like the one that's here.
Yeah, totally does.
Without the wing spread, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that was a nice sorceress too that they made.
Oh yeah,
A Filmation accurate
sure.
version.
Very, very much so.
And then finally for her, just a shot of the toy.
Yeah, is that yours?
Yeah, I actually don't have her anymore. I need to get it again, but yeah, that was mine. She
Yeah.
I've always been a little dissatisfied just because I feel like the Filmation sorceress's wings look better than this. Like this looks a little too literal, like she's a bird with bird wings kind of thing.
That's
I
true.
can see it.
Beautiful figure.
Yep.
The what if real quick for me is like when I was a kid and I heard about the animated show, I was thinking to myself how they would do all of those mini comics, and like how they were going to represent that stuff. And there's a part of me that has the what if out there of there's an alternate reality where the snake armor Teela was the sorceress on Filmation all along, and
Yeah.
it's like, what would that have made that show instead of the way Filmation came in and created sorceress in that way. And it's one of those, I'll never get to see it, but in my head, I always feel like that's one of those things where they made her very motherly, and I get that is the vibe they wanted to do. They wanted to make the kids feel safe, even though there's danger on the show and all that. But there is that part of me where it's like having a woman with a snake for armor helping He-Man out would have completely blew my mind as a kid.
Yeah.
Because I always, Cobra, G.I. Joe and stuff like that. There was always that snakes are supposed to be not so good. And then all of a sudden, hey, she's helping and she's got a snake. It would have given credit at least,
I
Absolutely.
think that someday, Sean, it'll happen for us. Someone is going to make a cartoon based on that first run of mini comics.
Yeah.
And it's going to make us real happy. And maybe it should just be like a, hour and a half to 2 hours fire and ice type of film. But it doesn't have to be released in theaters or anything like that. Just on Amazon or Netflix. And I feel strongly that somebody with the means will do that for us, because I know we're not the only folks out there that feel this way. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
It's really what the new movie's going to be.
Yes.
When they said who was going to play He-Man, I was like, I don't know about that. I try not to put any weight into anything, but I'm like, but
the new kid who's playing He-Man looks just like this. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You can't see the look on my face right now, but the look on my face is very.
Let's give him a chance. Let's knock him too bad. I mean, heck, Dolph Lundgren could barely even speak English when they cast him. So
I have faith. I have faith in it. I'm not going to give up hope yet. I'll give up hope when this one falls through the cracks and isn't made. That's when I'll just stop being positive about it.
Yeah.
But
I will say, turning this back to this, I know Adam said that the Teela one was one of his favorites. This is one of my favorites, actually, from the card art, because when I was a kid, it stuck with me, and it really set the tone of this character so easily.
Yes.
And I
love
this one.
Yeah.
So good.
All right. So Evil Lynn, she's a little interesting too in the concept art. Colin Bailey, he kind of took over for a little while after Mark left Mattel on some of the designs. He was more of a cartoonist. Apparently, he had a cartoonist background when he came into Mattel. So she's some of the notable things you can see. She's got a very short magic wand, not the long one that she eventually got for safety purposes, not make it harder to swallow. Her name is Sultra in this early concept. Dates to October '82. You can see, they're just pointing out she's a reused Teela for the most part in the head. And he mentioned Sophia Loren look in the face, which he doesn't actually capture so well in his drawing, but you can kind of see it in the toy.
You can see that in the toy.
You see it much more in the toy than you do here with the actual drawing. But I get it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And the next slide, I kind of do a side by side.
Oh yeah.
Kind of see.
There it is.
She does have that look.
Definitely.
So I don't have a ton of that's the only concept that I know of for Evil Lynn. This is what shows up in the catalog. I think this is probably a nicely hand painted, could be cast at Mattel. They would cast the prototypes with beryllium copper molds. So that's probably what this is, very nicely painted up. The ones that they paint tend to look less glossy under the lights. And then the figure, for whatever reason, they never advertise. I think we talked about this before. They didn't advertise the glow in the dark feature of her stuff, but it does glow in the dark somewhat weekly.
I've never tried mine. Oh yeah.
I feel dumb that I never knew that until like a couple years ago. I never ever had her in the dark as a kid, and never even dawned on me.
Yeah. I don't think I had her either. I just somebody I knew had her, and I played with her when I went to his house.
Yeah, same thing for me. My friend had her and had the sorceress, and I coveted those two figures. I was like, man, those are so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I was never like hugely interested in a Tila action figure because my friend never had the snake armor on her head. But when I finally saw Tila in the store, I think she's in the card back. Was she wearing it or no? I can't remember.
Yeah, on the card, the cross-sell art, she has it.
Yeah, the cross-sell art.
The later card back, she also has it.
Yeah, yeah. And when I saw that, I was like, that's so cool. Yeah. These figures are great.
Yeah, for sure. And then just really quickly, the Filmation one, they did try to differentiate her more. She's not just like a copy of Tila's outfit. They change up some of the details across like her abdomen. It's not exactly the same as what Tila on the show wore.
So for Evil Lynn, do you prefer the Filmation version or the original action figure version?
That's a good question. I don't know. I tend to, like in my classics, I've got the action figure version because that's what I'm collecting is mostly those. But it's kind of I feel they kind of did improve upon her somewhat. She looks a little. She doesn't look like she's just a carbon copy of Tila. They gave her a cape. She looks pretty cool. So if I'm gonna try to step out and be a little more objective, probably this cartoon is a little bit better take on her, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been able to make a determination with that question. I would not be able to answer.
Yeah. I feel like she's a better character than she is a toy. Like she's in any show, she's always one of the best characters. But because her toy is mostly a repaint, it's always been like not like one of my top favorites.
Yeah, she's spectacular in every iteration of animated Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, for sure.
Aaron,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that stinks, Aaron. I'm sorry to hear that. It's cool, but also frustrating.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but
sorry, Adam.
To your theme, like she was all in this show in 2000X and in the Revolution, she was far more competent than Skeletor. She was definitely the brains.
Yeah, my theory is that she was orchestrating every move. I mean,
she did.
I mean, I've been listening to Legends of Great Skull since the Dooch and Curtis have been going through the 2000X series, and Curtis brings up some good points. He's always good at like pointing out when something doesn't line up correctly, and the big question is always like, well, why doesn't she do this? Why doesn't she do that? And well, there's a variety of reasons. She's got feelings for these people on her team, but also she despises them at the same time. Like in a human being with complicated feelings, you're going to make decisions that are good for you, and you're going to make decisions that are bad for you. And but in every animated iteration, I feel like she's really moving things forward. She's always coming up with incredible ideas, and great plans, and she's always got a solution. I feel like without her, Skeletor would just be one of the bumbling idiots. It'd be, just a step above Beastman, really.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, out of all the women of Eternia in the Motu world, and this will include Princess of Power as well, Evelyn was always my favorite in the fact that everybody else was really holding her back.
Mm-hmm.
That's just always how it felt. Like everybody else was really holding her back. She may not have been as powerful as Skeletor in sorcery, but her grasp of it and the way that she knew how to use it definitely was, like, I feel like she could have overthrown him at any time if she chose to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel she had her own agenda that she herself was trying to get through and kind of needed him as more of a figurehead because she really didn't need any of those guys.
Yeah. I wish I could say the same thing for Beastman and Merman, but those guys would be nowhere without Evelyn and Skeletor.
Look, no.
Merman was a little more competent.
Merman was the warlord of the seas. All right, he was just funny. A fish out of water.
Yeah, there
literally.
You go. There you go. Blasphemer. Yeah, I know. I love Beastman and Merman. Jason's electric. Sorry. Evelyn always was plotting against Skeletor, but Skeletor always forgave her. But why?
Because he was a hetero demon and she was an attractive female that paid him attention and didn't run away screaming. I'm just going to put it out there like that. That's my theory behind it. Like, she had him a little whipped.
Yeah, she had him all figured out. She had him figured out.
Oh. Andrew's probably one of the first things that we've got to disagree on. Ooh, gets as much street. Well, no, you're right. He gets as much street cred as Aquaman, but he definitely deserves more because
he does. He does deserve more.
He was incredible. He didn't just talk to fish.
He better be badass in the movie. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
he better be badass in the movie.
I mean, the other thing too is depending who plays him, it could be the Jason Momoa effect again too, because I didn't know too many ladies who were upset seeing Jason Momoa all glistening and coming out of the water shirtless and all that stuff. So, I mean, Merman's a little different, but to each their own. Yeah.
Well, it's like comparing Merman to the creature from the Black Lagoon, right?
Yeah.
Like the Black Lagoon coming out in black and white is just like going back to Dr. No and what was her face that came out of the water with the shake in the bikini? Oh, I can't think of her name.
Ursula.
The very first Bond girl. Like, it's like that moment when you compare it. Like, that was so iconic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, Merman can't just live up to that, but he's still amazing.
I don't know.
I want to see. What's his name? Who's the ex wrestler? Who's the Peacemaker?
Oh, John Cena.
Oh, John Cena.
I want to see John Cena play either Beastman or Merman.
I would love to see him as probably Beastman because I feel that he could pull off being like, if you go back and you watch some of his matches, like he could be a force to be reckoned with, like this real diehard serious character, or he can play into the more bumbling, idiotic Beastman as well.
Yeah,
if you watch a lot of his movies with his humor and everything,
he's funny. That dude's really good at comedy.
Yes.
If you guys have not, even if you don't watch the show, which mind you should all watch the show Peacemaker. If you don't, look up the intro, the opening scene to that show. It is one of the most beautiful pieces of choreography that you will ever see, with an outstanding song. As a matter of fact, I can't even listen to that song anymore without watching that intro because it's that damn good.
I've been meaning to watch that show. It's on HBO Max, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which makes it a little difficult, but it was really good. After James Gunn had done the Suicide Squad 2, they basically were like, okay, let's give you a show and see how well you do. And really, just really an incredible show. Great cast. Even Robert Patrick, like playing a character that you should absolutely hate with a passion, but you love him as it.
Yeah.
Oh, also, if you weren't aware, Robert Patrick's brother is the guitarist from Filter, so that's pretty cool too.
I think, side note, I know, because we could go off on a tangent here, and I know, yeah, anyways, James Gunn was the best decision that DC ever made.
I would agree. Yeah.
The fact that they gave Superman his red undies back, I am all for that, because that's the Superman that I grew up with. Like, don't change the costume. Don't take those elements away. So this new Superman, I'm really excited, and I will always say this. I wish it was James Gunn directing the Masters of the Universe movie, because then I would know it was good. I would know that it would be good.
No doubt.
Yeah. Good job, DC, getting James Gunn on board.
Well, now he's going to run their whole show.
I know.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
And,
Cohesive.
you know, I've been a big fan of James Gunn's work since Slither. That was like the first thing that I ever saw that he did. And
right on, Oz.
Yeah, like
Slither's a masterpiece.
It is. If you haven't seen that yet, you need to go back and watch it.
Yeah,
it is. If you like classic B horror movies,
it's so good.
So good.
It's so much fun. Yes, that's right, Aaron. Thank you. They need their trunks. I mean,
yeah.
It doesn't make sense to change their costume because people are afraid to see a dude wearing underwear over his tights. It's weird to begin with. Just roll with it. It's great. Anyways. Oh yes, and David. Sorry.
No. It's all good. Good.
Guy Ritchie would do a great Mochi movie. That's true.
It would be extremely dialogue heavy and maybe hard for some people to follow, but that'll just bring you back to the original mini comics. So we're good there.
There you go. Yeah, it's true.
And
yes, that's so. And again, I've said it probably 1,000 times. I know I've said it on the Cambridge and Washawn podcast, but because James Gunn has a background working for Troma, it means he has an appreciation for making something out of nothing, and the tongue-in-cheek is so well orchestrated. He has a person who is raised who grew up making B movies is gonna make good movies, folks. All right.
Real quick, one other thing I want to throw out there too is I've seen a lot of the behind the scenes photos that they keep showing of them filming in Cleveland. And one of the things that made me just go, this feels right, is there's literally shots and videos and also photos out there of kids running up to Superman in this one scene. And he's picking up one of the kids and holding the kids. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of people like Cavill's Superman, but there's no way he would have ever done that in those movies. And to have the Superman the way that I wish I saw him all along, where he's actually interacting and being a force of hope, and also being like a dad or a big brother to those who need a dad or a big brother in that way. And that for me is like he's got what this is about. He's got the essence of what I've been waiting for. So yeah,
for sure. I'm excited. I haven't been this excited about a Superman movie in ages.
Absolutely, me too.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to Adam's not quite done with the slides.
No, that's fine. There's just 2 more slides. Next one, if you watch James E talk, he's the filmation
yeah.
the
Yes.
filmation guru. But he showed this on one of his videos. Basically, there's this hidden skull on her helmet, which comes from the toy design. They were going to do that. They decided, that's too much. It's gonna too much time to animate that, so they blacked it out. But you can, depending on how you do the lighting on some of these cells, you can see it still. It's kind of cool little fact. The other cool little fact. This is from the Golden. What was it? Sunbird Legacy book.
Yes, I love this.
Yeah, where she has the power to transform into this vulture called Screech. So it's kind of the parallel to Sorceress turning into Zor. She turns into Screech, and you get the toy colors of the Screech bird. Although it's, of course, the toy was not a vulture in any sense. But
that would have been cool if Screech was a vulture.
They saved on tooling. It was a smart move. But yeah, this would have been way better.
Yeah,
for sure.
Thinking of giant looking condor,
Yeah. Well, thank you, Adam. That was amazing.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Great discussion.
Yeah. And not the Saved by the Bell Screech. Though Saved by the Bell Screech was a huge Masters of the Universe fan.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to know if he chose the name Screech, like if that was his nod to being a fan of Masters of the Universe when he was a kid. We'll never know.
I don't know.
We'll never know. Well, I'm going to go ahead and jump in, and Oz, if you're okay with this, I'm going to do my weekly weirdo. It should be a quick one.
Not a problem.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and do. Awesome. All right, there are a lot of important female characters we should be talking about, but I'm for my weekly weirdo, I've got to stick with Evil Lynn, and I'm just going to go through the figures that I have and why I appreciate the ones that I do have, and talk a little bit about the ones that I don't have and how I wish I had those too. All right, but I'm going to go in order of when I got them. So as I mentioned before, I never had Evil Lynn as a toy when I was a kid, but my friends did. And then, so about several years ago, when I started repurchasing Masters of the Universe vintage figures, that sort of paralleled with the release of the Super 7 figures, the reaction figures that were coming out. Though I was late in the game for those. The first Evil Lynn that I bought for myself was not the vintage. It was actually this one from Super 7. No, was this Mattel or Super 7? I always forget where it cut off. I think this one was Mattel.
Might have been, yeah.
I'll let you know.
She was one of the last ones Mattel made.
Yeah, she was
switched, if I remember right.
So this was my first Evil Lynn in my collection, and still one of my treasured figures. She's amazing. And the novelty. All right, David, have a good one. The novelty of having a Filmation style character was huge when this came out and this became available, that I jumped on it right away and I got her. And I still think that this is the best. I know it's tough because the vintage figure is so iconic, but I still feel like this is the best version of Evil Lynn that we've gotten. I am looking forward to the cartoon collection Evil Lynn. Even though she's missing the cape, I'm still looking forward to it because the Tila was fantastic in that line. So I have high expectations. Haven't watched a lot of reviews of her, but I do know she doesn't come with the cape. But anyways, this Evil Lyn is spectacular, and I love her. I would have had her alternate head with the short white hair, but that's in storage. And then the next one that I picked up was the vintage figure. Adam, I noticed your picture has the same. Your figure has the same issue with the brown hip, the brown hip joints. I guess it's more of a gray. I don't mind it so much, but now that I've purchased this and I've seen lots of Evil Lyns, vintage Evil Lyns out there, I've seen a lot of them that don't have that issue. I'm always tempted to trade it. You folks can't see this, but Adam is going like this. Yes, he's always tempted to.
I probably will eventually. Just buy one without the staff and just switch it out. Switch out the figure.
Exactly. Yeah. But when I got her,
you just clean it up with a little bit of peroxide or something, or is it like the actual plastic?
I've heard that you can do that. Yeah. I'm just scared to do that. I don't know. I feel like
it is the actual plastic. I think it's like color leaching. I don't know if it's from the rubber bands or from some like my Whiplash has the same problem. Certain figures have that. Not all of them do, though.
It's true. Yeah. And so right after I got the vintage one, I did pick up the Reaction Evil Lyn, this particular version, and I love it. I've always been a big fan of the yellow skin, even though in the Filmation cartoon she doesn't really have yellow skin. And
Marge Simpson.
I've always been a fan of it. It's weird. It's like, I mean, who has yellow skin except for
The Simpsons?
The Simpsons, right? And so the next one I got, the next one I got, was the 2000X Origins Evil Lyn, the 2000X coloration, and I do have the first release Origins version of Evil Lyn as well, but she's in storage. I do kind of really like having her on display just because it's such a unique choice of colors, and I do appreciate the pale color, and she has the better knees than the other version. And then I despite what some folks might say about Evil Lyn in Revelation and Revolution, I really love that character's storyline and her trajectory and the journey she takes and the self-evaluation and the existential crisis she goes through and the bad decisions she makes and the potential good decisions she makes and how she becomes, and we can spoil it because everyone's seen it, but how she becomes a Zodak at the end. What's the name again?
Cosmic Enforcer.
Cosmic Enforcer at the end. I mean, I just love that journey for her. And when she first started to show like a really show her independence and her journey really begins in Revelation when she takes on the powers of the sorceress and she transforms into this version of Evil Lyn. I just thought, this is great. She's so badass. She's kicking ass and taking names at this stage, and then it just progresses from there. I never got the larger Evil Lyn figure for when she becomes God Lyn, but when she gets the power. But I do have this version, and I appreciate it. And Tila's journey in Revolution is fantastic too. I know it got a lot of criticism, but man, I just love that those shows emphasize the importance of these particular characters, Evil Lyn and Tila. But yeah, when Mondo comes out with their version of Evil Lyn, that's going to be a really difficult thing for me to resist because it's always been about the core evil warrior characters: Merman, Beastman, Skeletor, and Evil Lyn. And
there will be no resistance, Skelly. Let's face it. There is no resistance.
It's going to be tough. I mean, I'm cool with resisting Merman. I am not a fan of the Mondo Merman. I'm not. I wish it looked different. I do.
What about when they do the next version?
That's when I'm going to be trapped. I'm going to be trapped.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be.
If they do like a cross-sell version, oh man.
Well, because
Oh
like
my
you've
God,
seen
if
where
they
they're doing different head sculpts that you could swap on these.
Oh,
And when they put out that first Merman, they weren't doing that so much.
yeah, it's going to be tough.
Expect it.
It's going to be tough to resist, but I know that the evil Lyn that they produce is going to be spectacular. Speaking Moistly says, I picked up the Muscle Mommy Lyn, the God Lyn. It's a really great figure. I've seen people's reviews. It looks like a great figure. In fact, I'm kind of sad I didn't get it, but it's just an additional expense. And I do, even though I love this one, if there was an emergency situation and I had to figure out which one I would grab, I'm pretty confident I would grab this one because I can always enjoy this in the cartoon. We've never seen this version of Evil Lyn in the cartoon, so I think it would be difficult for me. But these are two of my favorite figures in my collection, forever and always. And Evil Lyn is always standing in the middle of the evil warriors, right next to Skeletor, and often standing in front of him when I have them on display. So she's really the brains behind the operation. So anyways, that's my Weekly Weirdo. And I wanted to ask Sean what he thought of my Otis intro to Weekly Weirdo.
I love it.
Okay, good.
I actually have seen a lot of these changes. I just didn't remember that I saw them until I'm on now, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I'm a freaking moron. Jeez,
you're not a moron.
He's seen them. He's watched the replay.
I have. Yeah,
we're old dudes. We can forget. We're allowed to forget.
So good.
I forget when
We
I'm going
walk
into
into
the bathroom. I'm like, why did I go back here again? And then I'm like, oh.
Welcome to my life every minute of every day.
I'm right there with you now.
One corner of the basement now. We all know Sean has pee jugs in. He's trying to figure out why.
That's my go to your corner area whenever I'm in trouble at home. Think
Hashtag
about what
pee
you
jugs.
did.
Yeah. Go stand in the corner for 5 minutes, and as we're old men with enlarged prostates, we got to go pee within that 5-minute mark. So you better give us a bottle.
What did Motu do right that we are talking about them 40 years later? Love it. I will say, Alan, you're absolutely right. I will say, I think I've thought a lot about this. I do think, and I could be wrong, but I think it's the uniqueness of the characters, the diversity of the characters, and I'm not talking about Earth diversity. I'm talking about Eternia diversity. But on Eternia, like these characters are from every species or race that can exist on that planet. They're all working together. It's crazy, and they're all brightly colored and interesting designs. And the women were powerful. The men were powerful. Even the men that were kind of unsuccessful in the brain department, like Ram Man and Beast Man, are still successful in other ways. They weren't completely fraught with stupidity and didn't allow them to do anything good. They made quite remarkable achievements in the span of the show. I just think that and the toys just allowed us to have all the freedom we wanted to have with our imaginations. And I think that's why. Speaking Moistly makes a good point here. Earth has way more biodiversity than Eternia. That's for sure. We've only had a small glimpse of what Eternia has to offer, I guess. Anyways, that's my take. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, yeah, like there was something within Masters of the Universe that could appeal to almost anybody, right? Like if you're into sci-fi, if you're into high fantasy, it appeals to you in several different ways. It appealed with comics, it appealed with media and the cartoons, the golden books. Like, even if you weren't a comic book reader, just the golden books alone were huge and helped flesh out the world of Eternia greatly. And then on top of that, just really fun designs with toys that, you know, they weren't small. It was harder to lose the accessories. I'm not going to try to pretend like we all didn't lose accessories to these toys too, but it was harder because they were a little bit of a larger scale. And I mean, seriously, what other toy line out there had your dude riding a tiger? None.
So cool.
None did.
And like spaceships.
Spaceships. Yeah, it's spaceships. You had the battle ram. That's really the secret key is the battle ram more than anything else.
Absolutely.
You know, incredible 2-in-1 vehicle that just decimated everything.
Well, now Adam's got to come up with a different answer because that was.
I know, right? That's the battle ram.
You could just add one to it, and then there's it's sitting over your shoulder.
Yeah,
Castle Grayskull. Yeah.
We've all got one over our shoulder. Everybody on here.
Yeah, I mean,
Adam's got 2.
Yeah, I've got 3. I've got a classics one over there off camera too. So, yeah, actually, I mean, everything you guys said, and then like this Castle Grayskull is like there was no other toys like that had been made. It was just kind of creepy and imaginative and mysterious, and like this could be. I mean, kind of depending on how you came across Castle Grayskull, this is the good guy's fortress, you know? This is this creepy skull castle, or
right?
It's, you know, something that they both fight over. Yeah, it's there's just a ton of the seeds of it. There's just so much imagination and archetypes, and it's all ready for your imagination.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sean, what's your take?
Sean's rant. Here we go. Ready?
Yes.
So, in a weird way, as a kid, the line made me feel like an archaeologist.
Oh.
Every new figure added to the history of what the lore of Eternia was for me. When you saw that box art for Castle Grayskull, it literally felt like you had discovered a pyramid. And you're going to get to go inside the pyramid and see what all the mysteries of that pyramid are going to be when you open it up and you assemble everything and all this stuff. It's like I always go back to the original stuff from '82 for the fact that that's the era where it was really, really interesting for my imagination to go, you know, like the mini comics are telling me this, golden books are telling me this. This is, you know, and then you could just do what you wanted with this line, which is part of why I think it's lasted the way it has. Because I've said it before, you know, like Optimus will always be Optimus Prime. Megatron will always be Megatron. But you can look at some of these figures, and depending what version you want to go with, it doesn't, like He-Man doesn't have to turn into Adam and back again if you don't want him to. Skeletor could be a demon from Infinita if you want him to be, you know, and stuff like that. So, and that's kind of what made it, that's what set the stage to this being so loved for me, I think, is it really was whatever you wanted it to be. As a little kid, you saw that box art. You could do dark, savage, whatever you wanted. Or you could play like Filmation, where it was more, you know, good versus evil and the hero saves the day, or however you wanted to do it. It was multi-purpose and versatile in that way.
Yeah. The artwork allowed us to think beyond the parameters of the plastic. And the mini comics did that too. Then the cartoon did it. And it's like just we could take those characters into places that were limitless because of the artwork. And Mark Taylor's designs and the whole team and like all that, just like I keep, you know, there's weird little things. Alan Vine Jungle Figure Factory is saying Beastman is the core of his being. Like all I have to do is see the vintage figure, Beastman's open hand to his side. All I have to do is look at that, turn around and look at it, up here, and I'm immediately taken back to hours of just staring at this figure at my friend's house, like just like fascinated by the sculpt, fascinated by the decisions that were made to create this guy. I wanted to be Beastman. I wanted a costume as a kid. Like, I mean, he's one of the weirdest characters ever created. The white face, the blue eyeliner, the orange fur, the red armor. I mean, what the heck is going on? All these characters are so weird, and just
Yeah. Mark's phrase was that they're avatars of the imagination.
And I
he
think
wanted the kids to tell their stories.
That's right on the money right there. Yeah. Yes, Malactha. We need a Malactha.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd buy that in an instant, Mattel. Instant. Even though I'm trying to refrain from buying right now, I'd buy that one in an instant. So Oz, are you ready for your segment?
Well, I was just going to spin off and be like, we've all had the touching moment about why we love He-Man, and we're talking about it 40 years later. Now, if you want the real truth, it's because Mattel talked to psychologists on how to make these things appeal to us young, impressionable children. Literally, there's documentation to back this up.
Yeah.
And we were programmed to love it so much that 40 years later, we're still talking about it. But that doesn't take anything away from the fact that, well, that just, again, like Skelly said, it was a success and we still fucking love it.
Yeah.
Which is why we're still spending buku bucks to keep it, because we love it that much. Now, on to my segment, because we're going to go in a completely different direction now.
Woohoo!
Because
it's time to buckle those seatbelts and you better grab a hold of something. They're going to journey through the Awesomeverse.
I'm so sorry, Oz. I clicked
no,
on
it's all good because I forgot.
I
forget how much of what I was about to just say Bobby says anyway, and he does it better. So, again, Bobby's voice for that is absolutely outstanding. Thank you.
I'm closing this part of my screen so I don't accidentally touch anything anymore.
You are good to go, because now my hands are going to be full playing with toys, so you've got to control the chat anyway. Don't close it. Keep it.
All right.
All right. So tonight we also had another lady. We had several ladies all across amazing media and adventures for all of us with toys as kids. And one of those ladies doesn't really get as much praise among toys as some of the other ones, because there's not many toys of her. And that is the amazing Ellen Ripley, portrayed by Sigourney Weaver throughout the Aliens movies. Mm-hmm. So this is the Ellen Ripley from the 90s Kenner line. It was, again, outside of Motu, this was one of the few female action figures I owned. As Andrew's channel often portrays, we didn't get a lot of the female characters that were in the shows. Yeah. There were certain lines that we did, but for the most part, we really didn't get a lot of them. So it was really cool. Of course, her being the main protagonist of the franchise is very important to have an Ellen Ripley. Mind you, she looks nothing like she did in the show, and they were going to do some other stuff. So this is just an absolutely fun, amazing toy that always takes me back. I don't have her flamethrower up here. That's in a bag of accessories downtown. I was even talking with Skelly how I almost wish I had my NECA version that I could bring up and talk about, but she's packed away in a box in storage, so I can't really get her. But I was even telling the guys, like, the action feature on her is that you're supposed to twist her torso, and she kind of always, her face stays where her feet are pointing, which is very actual common in body language. But that's because she's going to hold that torch up, and she's going to just go ahead and roast all the eggs and aliens that come at her. And, it was one of those cool features, because if I just twist her legs and hold her torso still, now her head turns every time I turn her legs. But she had a really cool, like, little peg hole here that part of the flamethrower would go into, so that as you rotated her, the flame on the torch would go in and out as you twisted her body, which, yeah, again, it was like this really two-part action feature that you didn't get a lot of back then. This whole line I absolutely loved. It was one of the greatest toy lines that I ever think came out, but that's just because I'm biased and being a huge fan of Xenomorphs. Now, not only did we get some great female figures back in the day for those old toy lines, there were a lot that were never produced, but I'm glad to see in the world of modern collecting that we certainly get a lot more female figures with these newer lines. And I got a couple of new toy lines action figures up here. So the last clubhouse that we did, I unboxed the ladies of Delta 17.
Very
So
cool.
here we have Retrograd's Death Sparrow. Now she's in charge. She is the Cobra Commander of Retrograd, which is one of the enemy factions in Delta 17. Everything about her also screams classic pinup, which is one of those great things. I'm absolutely a sucker for pinup art, and she is just a great figure. She's very simplistic, very, again, being part of the Retrograd faction. She's got a lot of retro weaponry. You can see the potato masher grenade right here on her backpack. She's carrying a AK with a drum barrel there, so that's pretty cool to have. You don't see that too often. Then for the good guys over on Delta 17, we have Kestrel. So she is another badass lady of Delta 17. Just amazing. And I love her little knife that she comes with here as well.
That's
It goes
so
right
cool.
in the backpack. That's another thing about the Delta 17 toys. The backpacks are not just for show. Like, they serve purpose. They hold weapons and everything. So Kestrel is another absolutely amazing figure. Modern toy line, strong, powerful lady. She could probably kick my ass. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And then also just easily on hand, one of my other more recent Mythic Legions requirements. We've got Thrace Wraithhaler here with all of her sweet magical effects. No, she is not an Evelyn homage, even though she's got the white hair. She's got really cool staff and everything. That figure came out quite a while ago. She's a half orc, half vampire, which is a weird combo, but she's still a great figure. But this figure right here is one of the newest things now. Absolutely gorgeous sculpt. They've already reused this head sculpt for a couple of other figures too, which is really great. Good wired purple soft goods, which I'm a sucker for wired soft goods, good soft goods. See Jessam's knocking it out of the park with those.
Yeah, that cape is really cool.
Well, it's got
I
a
could
nice.
see.
I could pop that hood up, so
Yeah.
now she's actually wearing it. Go ahead, Skelly. You were saying
I was just going to say that cape would look good on a Skeletor.
Oh,
Yeah.
without a doubt. Without a doubt. If you wanted Skelly to have his flashy, really good cape, this outstanding toy, I absolutely love it. I love the extra spell effects that she comes with. She is really, really good. I didn't even think about it, but the fact that I also have another female over here who is older than anyone that we've talked about tonight. We've got one of the gods of Egypt, Bastet, as well. So, really cool ladies. A lot of great female body sculpts coming out from a lot of great new toy companies. All of these toys are absolutely new stuff. So, it's good to see that we do get that representation now more so than we did in the 80s. Now, mind you, it's not like we didn't get Chitara from Thundercats, right? We definitely had her.
Yeah.
We just went through 3 of the ladies that we had from Masters of the Universe. And then we even had an entire sister line to Masters of the Universe with Shira, Princess of Power. We got a ton of amazing ladies throughout the 80s.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about She-Ra and how spectacular that. Well, I mean, a side note to that, like the She-Ra Princess of Power show is like deep and hard hitting and
Very.
spectacular storytelling. and all those characters are so much fun to watch at the same time too. I feel like Princess of Power really took He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and addressed even more important issues that we hadn't addressed in other shows. And there's some difficult episodes to watch because the book burning episode, for example, it's heavy.
Yeah.
And Adora's story is complex, and her journey is just as fraught with ups and downs as Evil Lynn's later story in Revolution.
Well, and even beyond that too, She-Ra kind of got a bit of a reboot before Masters of the Universe latest run on Netflix, because we had the She-Ra and the Princesses of Power.
Yeah, which is great.
Was another real. I didn't really give it a fair chance at first because I didn't exactly enjoy the animation style.
Right.
Even if you don't enjoy the animation style of it, the story through that is outstanding. Absolutely
very
outstanding.
solid.
And our youngest daughter just loved it, and I was like, I don't know, and I sat down with her and watched it, and boom, I was in it too. Really good storytelling there.
So I'm not sure if it was Connor's sister that got him started into it, but he came over to my place one weekend and he was like, "Hey Dad, can we watch, this show?" And I was like, "Oh, that's She-Ra. Yeah, we could definitely watch that." And we put it on and we started watching it. And I'm like, okay, I really like what they're doing here. It's not the She-Ra I grew up with, but it is a really good version of it. And Hordak just looked, I don't know, in my opinion, he looked a little bit more sinister in that version.
Yeah. And Shadow Weaver was super rad in that show.
So good. Honestly, I think that's the best version of Shadow Weaver we've seen. You could tell she was definitely pulling the strings behind everything.
Oh, we haven't even talked about how Shadow Weaver is the one pulling the strings behind Hordak tonight.
All the time.
That is so true. Always just on top of it. Yeah. So cool.
So, I mean, there are a ton of amazing ladies all throughout. And again, we didn't even touch on Princess Leia, but what's not to be said about Princess Leia?
Yeah.
I like how through the late 70s and the early 80s, we had a more heroic version of female characters and stories.
Yeah.
Because again, I know when my dad was growing up, you didn't see that as much. It was mostly women as, she needed to be rescued by the hero. But through the late 70s, going into the 80s, we started to get more and more women that didn't exactly need the guy to save them. Yeah. They were pretty capable on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And they were definitely more predominant within the media back then. And they made an impact, right? One of my first big crushes being, Princess Leia. I love a strong woman that can take command and really go. Now, mind you, I'm not some docile guy myself, but it's really great to see when a lady wants to do that. That confidence, that swagger, it is just as important to me, that a lady can have that. And she did. So that's made an impact my whole life.
I think it's important to note that there needs to be more, and there are more now, but there needs to be more, and the numbers should always be increasing of powerful female characters, and powerful characters that are non-gender specific too, and there's an issue happening though in storytelling that still continues to happen, and that is that there's a lot of responsibility placed on male characters, and I don't know. I know that that's certainly part of what it means to be a human being, But I also know that our lives as human beings, gender aside, are more complicated than just the hero should look like this, and the person in distress should look like this, and the villain should look like this and act like this. And the more we can complicate those roles, the better, in my opinion. And that's what I absolutely have always loved about Star Wars, that those roles are complicated. There's no black and white. There are gray areas. That's what I've always loved about Masters of the Universe. That's what I've always loved about Marvel and DC Comics as they have evolved. Marvel evolved quicker than DC, but DC's getting there. And it's what I've always loved about what was the other IP that I wanted to bring up? I'm blanking out now. There's my age playing its part now. But there's thank you, Bud. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank now, but I think I made my point now. I'm just sort of fumbling over trying to add on to it. But there's got to continuously be growth, and I think we're getting plenty of examples of that in contemporary storytelling. So fingers crossed. I'm a little worried about that continuing, to be honest with you, because I really want that. I want that freedom of character development to continue. And there are a lot of things happening in the world that might scare some of us into feeling that those ideals might be being pushed down a little bit more. So I just hope that it continues to grow rather than expand rather than contract.
Agreed. And Bud says it here. It's amazing now to see all the kind of people represented in media, because it's important for those who want to see themselves in the characters they like.
Absolutely. I mean, what is the new show? Not Ahsoka, but the Acolyte.
Acolyte.
I mean, I was watching it. I'm having a little bit of a hard time with some of the newer Star Wars series, just getting into them, because I'm just so stuck on the original trilogy. I mean, it's my own problem, but I was totally surprised and taken aback to see what people were actually complaining about. And if you're going to complain about storytelling, complain about the storytelling or the acting or things like that. But if you're complaining about particular characters being used in stories, or the idea of the hero being questioned, you just got to grow up a little bit and realize that human beings are complicated creatures, and we gotta be accepting of that. I didn't mean to get so preachy, but
no, it's okay. It was well said.
Thank you.
Very, very well articulated, Mason.
This is good. I like what Alan is saying here. Skeletor has way better diversity hiring practices than He-Man. Tila was the only girl, and she was there because of nepotism. Oh my gosh, that's kind of making a good point there.
Really is, especially with He-Man's looks already. It kind of leans towards a certain way of thinking. It almost shows like he had this complex. This is the superior. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say too much more than that. Yeah. Whereas Skeletor's like, hey, you dude, in the not smart guy who's out here in the jungle, you can talk to animals. That's pretty cool. Come work for me. Hey, you fish boy, come work for me. Dude with the two heads. All right, come with me. Yeah. We want you.
Exactly.
We want you. Yeah. He just took everybody. He-Man's like, do you look human? Yeah, okay. You know what? You look human, but you got an elephant head. We'll take it. We'll work with it here.
Yeah. I think that's why I've always identified more with the villains in all of the IPs from the 80s and the 70s, because they were the oddballs and they all came together. And I like seeing the oddballs come together. And And just real quick, speaking moistly, you do not have to apologize for not liking Star Wars.
That's right. If that's not your
everybody
cup of
likes
tea,
everything. Yeah, exactly.
that's fine. You don't have
no
to
need
like
to apologize.
There's enough stuff out there for everybody to like what they like. You don't have to like
Exactly.
the same things everybody else is.
Exactly. I mean, there's certainly elements of Star Wars that I'm like, I just can't get into it. And I know that when I retire and I have time to watch all of the Clone Wars, then maybe I'll have a better understanding. But I need that time in order to dig into that, because that's a whole other lifetime of entertainment to invest in.
I agree. You know, and it's good on a binge watch. However, you don't really notice it as much when you watch the overall picture, but I also recommend pulling up a watch order for it, because there are certain episodes in the first season that actually shouldn't happen until much later in the series. So
see, when I retire, Oz, you and I are going to confer. You're going to make me a list of the order in which I should watch those shows.
I'll get that watch order straight for you, so that way you can go right through Disney Plus and pick out exactly what you need to watch.
It'll be called Disney something else by then, probably.
Disney plus minus.
Disney plus minus. Anyway, so this was a fun show tonight, guys. And Sean, thank you so much for rejoining us for this.
He made it!
Hey, Bobby!
Hey!
Say hey! What's going on, Bobby?
Good to see you here, Bob.
Good night, brother.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, go over to watch the Decker Northcutt case files and listen, because it's like a radio show over on Bobby's YouTube channel, and all the complex branches of all the storylines. Go over to Bobby Dangerously on YouTube and listen to all those episodes. I don't know how the man has done it, but he's basically written about 3 novels worth of material in the last 6 months. And it's all on his YouTube channel. So definitely, folks, if you're not already familiar with Bobby, well, there's the number of people watching, you probably are all already tuning into Bobby's show. But if you're new to this channel and you haven't gone over there, go check out Bobby's stuff.
Case number 3, where we're on now, case number 3 is intense, especially after last night's premiere. Holy
yeah, there's always there are twists and turns in his storytelling that are just surprising and constantly exciting. So yeah, Bobby, I know he said, and also he's saying that it's coming to an end, but I'm just gonna I'm gonna on record say this: no story ever really comes to an end, folks. No story comes to an end.
All right, George.
Yeah.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Sorry. That was a good George Lucas imitation.
Really was.
Faster, more intense.
For a moment, I was like,
you got to do like a lazy Kermit, and then you got a George Lucas kind of.
That is exactly it. Exactly.
You know what? I can definitely see that. See, I can do Kermit the Frog real good.
I can do that too. That works for me.
Break it down a little quicker.
That's good. All right, Adam, who are you going to imitate now? Because I'm not going to do anything like that. What you got for us?
Do it. Sorry, I was fully zoning out for a second. What?
He's over there like, I'll let those nerds do their thing.
Yeah, let them do their Kermits. Let them do their Kermits.
Am I supposed to do a Kermit impression now?
No,
you don't have to do Kermit. Okay. You can do any. Do anybody.
You do an impression.
Okay, do an impression. Well, I might as well do Kermit the Frog.
There we go.
I can't do that. Have to have one. I can't do it.
I can always do one of my other favorites too.
You should have been working for the Henson Company, Oz.
Probably could have. I actually used to do a really, really good Fozzie too.
Oh, puppy.
Oh
like,
yeah.
It's that time of night. Gotta say hello.
Well, guys, what do you got coming up? Anything exciting?
Well, I spent 30 years on the rock, and I'm finally getting out later.
Oh shit! More impressions. Oz, I guess maybe not working for the Henson Company, but maybe just being an impressionist would have been a good career choice for you.
I'm not as good as Jim Impressions.
Wait, can you do Stratos one more time for me? Sean, I thought you would get that.
I got it. No, I got it.
We totally got it.
Something smells stinky.
Something sinister.
Oh man. Oh, and you know what? And just a shout out to Curtis Ackerman. I'm so glad that right now, when you're as a guest host of the Legends of Grayskull, you are constantly calling out the 2000X Mike Young production voice choices for the characters, because that was my biggest pet peeve. You got this badass character with a voice that sounds so dorky and silly that really bothered me. And I don't know why, because you got the same dorky, crazy, weird voices in the Filmation cartoon, but for some reason, they're like the complex storytelling, the heavy duty action, the sometimes difficult and scary subject matter of the Mike Young Productions version of Masters of the Universe. Then to hear Clawful or Ram Man, was it Ram Man that talked just like Clawful, or was it one of them? Two of them talked exactly like one another, and then Stratos as Sean Connery. It just really takes you out of the whole thing. So Curtis, shout out to you. I appreciate you making comments about that. But yeah, I guess, well, yeah. So what's going on, guys? I went off on a tangent again. Why are you letting me do that? What's coming up? What's on the agenda for you guys?
I'm working on. I got another subscription to newspapers.com, which I do whenever I need to do some research on there. But I'm doing a couple of things, like a Filmation timeline. Like I've done timelines before, like when the figures were released and other things. But I'm gonna do like a timeline of different, Filmation events and episodes, and then also one for the She-Ra toys releases as well. So
cool. Love it.
Research intensive project.
Everybody go hang out at the Battle Ram blog and read and read and read and read. Oh, and Adam's been posting YouTube videos too, which are fantastic.
Yeah. I think I'm going to do probably Battle Cat next for that. I haven't started it yet though.
Nice.
Good
stuff. Sean, how about you? I know you've been in like
sabbatical.
He's been in the corner with his PJ.
That's what the Dude is calling it. He said I'm on sabbatical. So as of right now, I don't have anything that I'm really like, oh, I'm gonna do that. I don't have plans or anything set up past right now. I'm just, I'm taking it as if something works where it's like, hey, can you be on? You'd be good to talk about this. I'm happy to do that. And I know that Dooch and I are talking about, trying to get me back on Legends at some point as my schedule works. So we'll figure that out. But I'll just take this moment again real quick to just say a big thank you to the community, because that was, like I said, it was an awesome surprise to have that Mondo Tila again. So everybody who was involved in that, again, thank you so much. It's definitely appreciated more than you know. Because I'm not. If I get into it more, I'll start crying, and then we'll take way too long to get off the air. Believe me. So.
Well, we love and appreciate you, and we miss you, but also being see, there it is. But also doing things like this takes a lot of energy, and you know, sabbaticals are very, very necessary. They exist for a reason. Breaks are very, very necessary. They exist for a reason.
Yep.
And mental health is something we got to take care of, and our families are things we got to take care of. This is just reality stuff. So everyone here loves you, but they also understand.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm very fortunate that everybody I've dealt with from both this community and our other communities with Offworld and Legends and stuff, where the people are at least oh, Sean's back, yay! And I'm not doing it for the attention, but it's really nice that people are welcoming me back. But every time I tell somebody this is why I did it, the understanding from everybody is across the board amazing on top of that. So I can't say enough thank yous at this point, I guess. But yeah, thank you for that too.
Yeah, you're great. And we're excited that you said that when you're needed, you might be able to be there. So we'll take advantage of that.
If you want to put up the Sean signal, the bald guy with glasses.
Yeah, totally.
Then you might get a voice message from me. If Curtis is listening right now, I'll transform and roll out. Because I know he loves that one.
Yeah, that's good.
Acrobat, transform and roll out. And then my wife's going to transform and roll out down here and knock me up the side of the head going, it's midnight. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just, for those of you that watch my channel, you maybe have seen that I've been working on this Snake Mountain for quite a while, a little bit longer than 6 months, and it's finally coming to an end. I have almost everything done with it, and so do stay tuned to the channel. There's a part 19 episode 2 coming out, which is going to be sort of a relaxed walkthrough of the finished mountain. And I have to actually, it's been outside while I've been working on this, but I'm going to be bringing it in to the house to do some finishing touches. And so that'll be the next episode, and that should be out very, very soon, hopefully within the next 5 days or so. Thank you, Alan. Everything you build's amazing too, man. I really appreciate you saying that. But that's it. Like I'm, just doing the thing. And I appreciate every single person that watches this show and watches the channel. You're all amazing. That's the part that just constantly just blows my mind. Oz, what's new with you?
Well, of course, as you guys know, we'll be doing Clubhouse this weekend. Again, it will not be 24 hours. Do not expect me on at 6 a.m. this Saturday. It's not going to happen, folks. It's just not going to happen. That will be the following weekend. Again, we're going to be covering all the news that'll be released from San Diego Comic-Con, Thursday and Friday, because it starts on the 25th. So I'll be going 20. Somebody was thinking I was going to be rolling throughout San Diego Comic-Con, and I don't have that kind of a death wish. I'm not going to be streaming through the whole thing. That's not happening. I'm going to be doing 24 hours starting Saturday through Sunday, 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for you guys over on the West Coast, I'll be starting at 3 a.m. If any of you guys are up, you're welcome to join at 3 a.m., but I doubt it. So again, other than that, though, that's going to be the big thing going on. It's going to be a really fun stream. We're going to try to keep as many people on throughout the day as we can. Of course, I will be keeping one honorary seat open, as we know several of our friends. I know, of course, Michael and Toy Sorceress from Toy Habits are going to be there on the ground at San Diego Comic-Con. So I've asked them if at any time that if they're standing in line to go see something, if they just want to pop on and join us, tell us about what they're seeing throughout San Diego Comic-Con. It'd be really cool to have that boots on the ground kind of feel. As well as even Mega J will be going out there, which is going to be really cool as well. He's making it out the San Diego Comic-Con. Part of the Champions of Neferity toy line. So for all of you guys who are fans of Flipboard, they will actually be having a panel out there. So that'll be pretty cool. We'll definitely have to check that out. But other than that, I've got this really big thing